Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fressa, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Monday, February 10th, 2024. As the month of February goes by, holy cow, it's almost Valentine's Day. Are you ready? Well, yes, folks, let's get together and welcome everybody in the chat, because I tell you, we got one heck of a great show ahead of us. You know, we got a lot of great things to talk about. You know, it's too many things to talk about, I can almost say. Yeah, not on our headline. Yes, we'll be talking about NASA disbanded the UAP research team. And, Anna Polina's, what do you call it? Task Force be a nothing burger? We'll find out. And on that note, let me go ahead and welcome in the audience, because that's what I love to do. Where are the drums, everybody? Here we go. Let's welcome in our audience, and let's get this show underway, my friends. Let's see who the heck is out there. I see Abby Raxon, Anne Marie, Anton Ghost, and Azriel's here, along with Brian Horde, Diane Morgan, and Charman. How about that? Or Tramian. There we go. Close enough. New names. Clear Glass Studios is here, along with Craig Smith. I see DT, Daryl, Deborah, Destiny, Digger Dog, Dolly Farton, Dudes Abides, Fink Floyd, Firefly, Frank Rappa, Free Paul Damon, and Geraldine Durazio. Good to see everybody. I made it through. All right, we got Ginger here along with Hemigod. We got Heiser, Soze, Jan's here along with J-Cat, Joey Stoner, John Butterboss Sr., and John Mooner. Well, don't forget, we also have Johnny UFO. Well, we have Juliana Reverbal, Kane Northup, and Kelly Broten, those piercing blue eyes. My goodness. Kelly, did you love the booing that Taylor got? I think you may have missed it for the cheers that was for Trump. Oh, love your tweets, my dear lady. Who else we have out there? We got Kenneth Thompson, Litz here, Lon, Martime Unprepared, along with Matthew Sullivan. Would you look at that? We also have Michael Turtleman, Michelle Huang, Mike Disclosure, Mr. Grimlock, all in our chat. The chat is growing, and I got a bunch of people in the audience already. Can't wait to get this thing happening. We've got Mr. Joey B. Neil Morgan, Niles Guy. There you go. Push King, Q Essence, and Rainstorm Hunter. We also have Ray Gee, Rebecca Curry, Richard Chapman, and Robert Vargas. Any relation to the Elizabeth Vargas? You never know. Robin Smith's here, along with Sam and Sam Wallace, and Shermanator Osborne, our resident agentologist. Thanks for being around here as much as you are, Sherman. I really appreciate it, honestly, my friend. Also want to thank Space Coast Flight, Springfield, P. Steven, Steve G, Steve Hook, Steve Lee. We got all three Steves. How about that? No Stevans, though. That's a good thing. Sunflower, Tamisha Bertrand, the Chromosome Cowboy, the Coin 405, the Hydrogen Line, and the only Stevan I do, nursed until he was 4 years old. Did I say that? Oh, yes, he did. Mommy, can I have more? Tom Clark's here, and Tony 3057. We've got Troy, and two midgets get on a horse. Don't you need three midgets to get on a horse, two, and then one? Maybe, you never know. Tyler Young's here, along with Umam, Morch, Unicron, Vern Dude, Wesley, Sissons, Yankee 58, and all the way from the United Kingdom, we have Yellow Tommy Tanker, also known as Andy. How about that? But folks, it's not just about the people in the chat. Sometimes it's about the people who are in the back chat. Why can't I hear the music? Oh, let me fix my audio so I can hear this. Nothing's ever perfect, but I try to make it better. I've got my audio turned down. That's better. I can hear it now. All right, let's take a look and see who we have in the back today. All right, starting off, coming from the great state of Florida, let's welcome in Alice W. How's it going, Alice? Uh-oh.
Hi, Thomas. Missed a couple episodes and probably missed a lot of good stuff.
Yes, and you've got an echo today. You want to fix that?
I'm okay.
No, you need to leave and come back. We're getting a reverb coming back. I just muted you. You need to leave the chat, come back in, and maybe it'll fix itself. But yeah. All right. Let's also welcome in from the great state of Colorado, Ashley Kennedy. How's it going, Ashley?
Monday.
Oh, shit. There we go. Good to see you, my dear lady. Yeah, Fun Day Monday. Thank God. It's not Fuck You Monday. It's Fuck You Fridays usually, but it's been a good one so far.
You're a hardworking man, Thomas. Thank you.
Well, I'm actually on vacation 3 days a week for this week and 2 more weeks. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday off. 5-day weekends. Who wouldn't love that? Thank you for coming in today, Ashley.
Thank you.
Also, temporarily coming in from the state of Hawaii, Honolulu, no less. Let's welcome in Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Go Birds. Oh, it's going fantastic. My team bought the big game home. I'm super happy, super sunny. Got a lot of sun going on right now. So, yeah.
And it turned out the only disaster that was predicted turned out at there, and it wasn't the score, the halftime show.
Yeah, the halftime show and Taylor Swift. Yeah, about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
the Taylor Swift factor of bad luck. Man.
She did. Jack.
She cursed him.
She did. I think it was Swift. I would blame Swift if I was on Kansas City's side. But
it was either that or Trump and Air Force and Trump and Trump Force One flying over the Gulf of America, stating that he's rooting for Kansas City to win. So
they're renaming the Delaware Bay the Bay of Eagles.
Oh, and I hear they're renaming Lake Michigan to Lake Illinois.
There you go.
Thanks for coming in, my friend. Well, turning our sights up north on the great state of Canada, actually a great state of Indiana. Where the hell did I get that from? Let's welcome in Daryl Zernick. How's it going, Daryl?
It's going great, and according to the introduction, 2 milk-starved midgets on the back of a pony. Sounds like it's going to be an interesting show. Can't wait.
It's actually 2 midgets on a horse, and I'm still seeing them in chat right now. Unless it's a really small horse.
Oh, little pony.
They're so cute. Have you seen those little horses? They're like dwarf horses. They're like this big. So cute. You know, they dress them up and everything. Like, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming in, Daryl. Well, now putting our sights on the great state of Texas. Who do we have there? No one but Ed Brown. How's it going, Ed?
Well, I think you're right. I'm the only one in Texas, and we're bragging that warm weather again. So feel sorry for all you people up north who are taking all the snow and ice and everything in. It's nice down here.
Well, it's 32 degrees and clear with a moon, so I am happy about that.
Well, it'd be a good night to go out and look for UAPs in the sky.
Oh, it's a good night to maybe look for the missing Aurora Borealis. I think it's out there somewhere.
Well, there you go. That'd be fun. Looking forward to the show tonight. Got my popcorn all set up. I'm reclined in the official. Can I call this the official Disclosure Tonight recliner?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Well, I'm going to recline here and just watch the show.
It's the Disclosure Tonight recliner.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, it's the best one you could possibly have. Thank you, sir. Also, let's go ahead and set our sights north on Canada. We've got Freezerman 71. Freezerman, is it still cold up there?
Yes, it's very chilly.
And I hear you're getting some snow, maybe?
Yes, it's coming soon.
There you go. Excellent. Send some my way. We'd love to have it in the Seattle area, and you're not that far north of me, so.
No, we're not too far. We'll do our best, Thomas. Yeah. Don't worry.
Exactly. Well, based on the value of the dollar, not far enough. Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh.
Oh, all right.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and turn our sights on us. Let's turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe. And who pops out of Australia? It's none of your business. It's actually Susan Ford. Susan, how are you?
I'm really well, Thomas. I'm looking forward to the show.
Well, thank you. I am too. I can't wait for you to go ahead and do it for us. Oh, I love that. That'd be so nice. You notice that isn't fixed. Let's fix it. All right. Let's go ahead and we have to go ahead back to the East Coast of the United States where they've got so much snow. Daniel's a masshole. Sergeant Daniel, how you doing?
How you doing? Great to be here. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming in. And then we've got someone in the back. I haven't introduced where you're from. Is Mr. Sharky Markey there?
I'm actually from Massachusetts as well, right on the border of New Hampshire.
We got 2 of them. It's like George Carlin. Look, everyone else here is a masshole besides me. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, please make it stop snowing. I hate snow.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you, my friend. My mom lived in Massachusetts for one season of the wet, and they moved back to Illinois promptly. So thanks for coming in.
That's how much they loved it.
Oh, you better believe it. All right, let's go ahead and welcome in Tia Marie from New York. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. It's going good. Excited to be here.
Thank you to be here. You're looking beautiful tonight.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You better believe it, my friend. And that puts our sights on the one, the only, the ever-present. Well, he's here now. Mike, disclosure. How the hell are you?
I'm doing well, Thomas. And I have a feeling we're going to have a lot to talk about on the Monday night show.
Yeah.
Going to be quite a few things to discuss, including our headline. I'm looking forward to it. And I think the audience is as well.
Oh, yeah, it should be a doozer, a real doozer on that one. Not a dozer on Fraggle Rock, but a real doozer for that matter. All right, before we get to the top headline, Mike, I've got something set up here. You know, we've got to talk about it. It's out there. It's interesting. But, you know, there's this press conference that's going to be happening tomorrow from Anna Paulina Luna.
Right.
And from all looks of it, well, some people are saying out there, it's about UAP. Well, we don't know yet. More importantly, you know, they've announced that it's going to be a task force, Mike.
Right. And there's a lot of pushback from that announcement today. People are saying it's not a permanent select UAP committee.
Oh, well, right, Mike. I have got the definitions on that, so don't tell the audience just yet. Let me go ahead and bring it there. There you go, folks. Yes, Chairman Comer and Representative Luna to hold a press conference on a new oversight committee task force. Now, task force is the key. What are they saying here? The Washington House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, Chairman James Comer and Representative Anna Paulina Luna, both Republicans, will hold a press conference on Tuesday, February 11th, 2025 at 3 p.m. Eastern to announce the creation of a new oversight committee task force on national interest. Sounds like it's something big. Sounds like it's something it could be. Well, the thing is, though, when you see the word task force, Mike, yeah, we have to consider a task force. As excited as we want to get, a task force is probably going to be a nothing burger.
It's temporary. You're
correct, Thomas. It's temporary. It's not just that. The problem with the task force, Mike,
we don't know about budget.
It has personnel. It has no teeth, nothing whatsoever.
No subpoena power.
Well,
right.
It's not just that. Let's just go ahead and bring it up here. And, you know, we have three different things we could compare this to, right? In the House of Representatives, the term task force, select committee, and church committee all refer to different types of committees with distinct roles. First off, a task force. A task force is an informal, often temporary working group created by House leadership, a party caucus, or a committee to address a specific issue. Next, it lacks formal legislative authority and typically focuses on research, policy recommendations, or messaging. That's it. For example, the China Task Force created by House Republicans to study the threats posed by China. Now, a select committee, and they've been talking about wanting to get a select committee in Congress for the longest time for UAP, right? And they've been turned down time and time again by Mike Johnson and previous House leadership. Now, why would they want to have a select committee? Well, a select committee is a temporary committee established by resolution of the House to investigate specific issues or conduct oversight. Unlike committees, select committees do not have permanent status, and their powers vary depending on the resolution that creates them. Some, not all, have subpoena power. Example, the Select Committee on January 6th attack investigated the events surrounding the U.S. Capitol riot.
Yeah.
Third,
go
ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to say we also have the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. So it's a select committee, but it's also permanent. Kind
Correct,
of a contradiction, right?
Correct. Absolutely. But then again, it is in the Senate, Mike, and they do have special rules sometimes. They're special.
Oh, special is the word.
Yeah, they're special, but both the House and Senate probably both have people who walk around in walkers. Nothing wrong with that, but sometimes when you get to that point, it's time to retire.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen that before.
Oh, yeah. Remember we had Weekend at Feinstein's.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
And there was another person that was in the Senate or the House who they discovered she hadn't voted on anything for the longest time, like 6 months. And they actually found out when they researched where the hell she was at. She was in a dementia care facility, but she was still holding her position in Congress. Do you think there's a problem?
Oh, just a little bit. But that's been going on for the longest time. I mean, that's why we have the issues with the legislative branch that we have. And they haven't fixed it yet. So
yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
Now, the last one we have, well, it's just been in the Senate, a church committee. The term church committee originally refers to the 1975 Senate Select Committee to study governmental operations with respect to intelligence activities chaired by Senator Frank Church. This was a Senate committee, not a House committee, and it investigated abuses by the U.S. intelligence agencies like the CIA, FBI, or NSA. It almost seems, based on what we're going to find out from the Kennedy declassification that happens, Mike, apparently like 4,200 additional documents that were missing that just came to light from the CIA. Did you hear about that today?
The FBI.
FBI, yeah, thank you.
They discovered it, and it was unknown and undiscovered until they decided to bring that information forward. I take that as a good sign. They're bringing the information out.
In other words, they had it, but they accidentally misplaced it.
Mm-hmm.
In the drawer saying, do not disclose,
Which is what often happens in the government when they don't want the information to come out.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It seems to be that way, my friend. Now, getting on to it. So back to the church committee. All right. So this was a Senate committee, not a House committee, and investigated the abuses. Yes, the House had a counterpart known as the Pike Committee, but it was less well known. Now, in modern usage, a church-style committee refers to any congressional investigation into intelligence or law enforcement agencies, such as the House Judiciary Select Committee on the weaponization of the federal government. So there are different uses for this, but if they're going down the route of just a good old task force, they're going to be able to research, make policy recommendations or messaging to the public, but it doesn't sound like there's going to be any force behind what they're doing here besides potentially bringing out information that's been improperly classified out to the public.
No, you are correct. It's more smoke and mirrors and them coming out with a strong message that doesn't have any teeth, that isn't really going to accomplish much of anything. But that being said, people are speculating on the UAP angle of this task force. I have a sneaking suspicion that because of the work that the DOJ department is doing with Elon, that they also may include this task force to look for, because again, this is coming out of oversight, House oversight.
Right.
They have the authority to look into, of all things, government corruption, which Elon has been finding.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to jump on that bandwagon, I have a feeling, and they're going to announce part of the duties of the task force is to also look into government corruption, which Elon has found a ton of so far.
Oh, yeah.
So if I was a betting man, I would bet that's going to be part of the announcement tomorrow.
Right. Now, while Vetted out there has gone and said, this is going to be about UAPs, it hasn't been said anywhere, folks. I haven't found it. A lot of people can try and read into it, but don't get excited until you hear what they have to say. You can get a little, I want to go ahead and watch this, get excited, but don't get overjoyed. Don't get too locked in to one particular piece because you never know where it's going to go.
Right, because nothing official has been stated publicly so far.
And even if it is about stuff about UAP, a task force, again,
will accomplish nothing.
Oh, Mike, it's kind of like, if, let me get this back up here again. The problem is going to be Granny's going to want to eat this, but she doesn't have her false teeth. So it's going to be gum in that one, my friend.
Well, look, you and I talked about this on Saturday's show, and we know that tomorrow's press conference is going to include the chair of the House Oversight
James Comer, right?
James Comer. Which was partners in crime with Mike Turner and Representative Anna Paulina Luna. You know who's absent on that roll call? Representative Tim Burchett. Now, if there was a solid UAP angle coming from Congress, I guarantee you he would have been there for that press conference. The fact that he isn't, I think, speaks volumes as to what this may actually be about.
Right. It sounds like, honestly... Oh, we got some other news about Tim. Can't wait to cover this one. Tim is, maybe he's in lockstep with thinking Congress isn't going to be able to bring it out. Maybe he's one pointing to, maybe Trump's going to bring the information out. And we're banking on that because Congress has seemed to have problems with the last UAP hearing like we talked about, Mike.
Yes. We're at length. Yeah, we broke that story.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of shenanigans going on from behind the scenes with Congress and members of the executive branch. It was a disaster. It still is. So maybe this is just a smokescreen with this task force to distract the public on what's been really going on. I don't think they're as pro-disclosure as they claim they are. So we'll see.
Time will tell. Again,
yeah, time will tell. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Mike. If they go ahead and announce or even utter the word UAP, we might have to have a show tomorrow.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We can.
Oh, yeah.
Depends on where it goes, but we already know that the establishment of this task force is not going to have any real teeth, and they're not going to be able to do anything beyond recommendations, which fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, I hear you, my friend.
Unfortunately.
Let's see what Ed Brown has to say. Ed.
Well, I've been thinking through that, and I think there's two points I want to make. One is when Luna said this is going to be really big, we kind of bought into thinking that was going to be about UAPs, NHIs. I'm not sure what else that select committee could come up with that would be really big that anyone would really care about. So that's one point. But the other one is the word messaging. It could well be that her thought is we can put this task force together and it'll give voice to a consolidated distribution system of sending out messages and clarifying what's going on. And that disclosure could come through that probably easier than from the committee itself. But I also agree with Mike that it is surprising that Burchett isn't on that committee or that task force. So
yeah, well, it says a lot, Ed, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with you, Mike. I think it does. But you know what? We can debate this all evening, but tomorrow about 3:00, we're going to find out what it really is.
Wasn't Burchett pulled off of oversight and put over on Doge?
Yeah, and the UAP caucus members, with the exception of Nancy Mace, have all been pulled from previous roles. We covered that as well.
Yes, they have been. Ashley, your thoughts?
There are and have been different task forces within the government, and they've been highly criticized because they will state that they're out to seek some kind of information about something, and they're usually not very effective at it. Look at the war on drugs task force was a really big one. It aimed to lower the risk and use of drugs, and it really had no significant impact. That was huge in the 80s.
Right, but even look recently, if we did have a war on drugs, why were we not protecting our southern border and allowing the attackers to be delivering that poison right into our country? It's almost like our government was paying people to look the other way. Wait, they weren't they?
Our government can tend to be oxymoronic at times.
Let's drop the word oxymoronic. That works.
Right. but there are several, like Hurricane Katrina task force. They also just recently did like a FEMA one to figure out where the money was actually.
Oh yeah,
going.
that's right. Don't forget 59. Biden administration swore there was no money going from FEMA to go ahead and, if you want to call it, to go ahead and pay for the migrant crisis. And they just ran into that they tried to do a $59 million transfer to hotels in New York to pay for their stay. Yet we have all these people in North Carolina that are basically homeless and in line for hours just to get a tank of propane for the night to keep themselves warm. It just doesn't seem fair.
They're starving, and like I've stated before, we highly rely on our own community.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So on that note, let me get Mocha off the screen with Moose. Mocha's in heat, and Moose is in a spell on his own. My goodness, it's not his fault. I haven't seen him smile a bit more in a long time. Come on, Moose. Stop smiling now. I guess so. I pick you up. Go back by Mocha. Have fun. All right. Talking about Tim Burchett, we've got a great video of him talking about Trump administration ways UFO transparency with Ross Coulthart and more. We'll go ahead and play this clip courtesy of News Nation. All right, here we go, folks.
It's a lot to unpack, and that's why we are going live now to Sydney, Australia with News Nation special correspondent Ross Coulthart. Ross, it's always so good to see you. Thanks for making the time.
It's a real pleasure, Natasha. Nice to see you and your guests.
Thank you. And I know that you've covered other accounts of UFOs moving hundreds of miles an hour underwater, joining with Congressman Burchett's claims. What do you make of underwater UFOs?
I've had the privilege of speaking directly with submariners, particularly, who have been witness to measurements of objects underwater using the sophisticated tracking technology that both the US Navy and my Navy in Australia use. And there are objects that have been recorded unbelievably moving close to the speed of sound in air underwater. So we're talking there about hundreds of kilometers an hour, hundreds of miles an hour. And there's no explanation for it. What we do know is that it is now officially admitted that the mystery of these objects is real. The United States has come a long way in the last 5 to 7 years. It now admits officially through the Director of National Intelligence that, in fact, there is a mystery, a genuine mystery there that requires investigation. And so now under the new administration, under President Trump, there's a big push on privately behind the scenes to get the claims of people like Jake Barber, the guy that I interviewed on News Nation a few weeks ago, who exclusively revealed his knowledge, direct first-hand knowledge of the existence of a retrieval program, an underground retrieval program involving alleged alien technology. Incredible allegations, I know. But what's interesting is there is now engagement at the top levels of the Trump administration and also in the Congress. People want to hear more, and they're asking questions.
And let me ask you about that, because I know Jake Barber revealed that he has met with then Senator Marco Rubio's staff about the UFO retrieval program he says he was a part of. And of course, Rubio is now Secretary of State. What does this mean for the future of UFO information? Do you know anything about this?
Mike, I just want to jump into this really quick. I'm not sure if you heard the news or not. Let me bring us out here so we can talk about this midstream, because this is kind of important. It goes along with what we're hearing right now. All right, so UAP caucus co-chairman Tim Burchett worries whistleblower Jake Barber's a plant just to steer us off. Plus, we also heard that UAP caucus member Eric Burleson still hasn't listened to whistleblower Jake Barber's claims. So these are two very important people who don't seem to be taking this story as seriously as what Ross and everyone else is playing it off to be. Don't forget, a lot of people, like Lou Elizondo had said, if what he said was true. There's a lot of ifs in there in the statements about what he said. Even Gary Nolan inserted that if there. And I think a lot of people who are part of the community that hear his story. And it's like, oh my God, it's kind of like, you know, pigeons going crazy. If you scatter some feed on the ground, they all flock in and eat it instantly because they're hungry and they're driven to eat. And the same thing goes on in UFO Twitter and people who are in the community of UFOs for that matter. We want news, and sometimes we'll read into stuff, or the first thing that we're going to hear, we're going to jump into it and go after it. Now, I trust Tim Burchett. He is by far the biggest voice for UAP truth and UFO disclosure across all of the House of Representatives and Senate combined. And if Tim says he's concerned about it, that's enough to go ahead and raise the red flag for me. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. If he has grave concerns about a whistleblower and testimony, that's something you can't ignore and you have to take very seriously. I do.
Right.
Tim is credible, accurate, and he's not going to bullshit anybody. There's no reason to.
Yeah. And just so people know what the heck I'm talking about, yeah, here's the post from Matt Laszlo over on Twitter. You know, he worries that whistleblower Jake Barber is a plant just to steer us off. Meaning, let's go ahead and bring out the story. Let's get this stuff out here. Everybody focus on this. Well, the real important stuff we should be focusing on is over here, but everyone's worried about that one.
Right. So right there, I mean, look, you and I have spoke publicly since Barber came out, and we make the same points. He is making some huge claims to be able to control UAP craft and have them land at his feet and document and videotape all of this. That's great. Our answer has always been, just show us.
Right.
That's all.
And same with me. I am in the center on this. I'm not going to say hell no. I'm not going to say hell yes. I'll stay in the middle. Maybe a little to the left, a little bit, but not much. But you know what? What I wanted to see the most is I want to see the proof. The proof that can convince the public opinion, not all the people who are in UFO Twitter or everybody else, the proof that can come forward to go ahead and satisfy the quest of the people who aren't so up to knowledge and up to speed on what this whole thing's about. That's what we need. We need that undeniable proof and evidence that goes along with it, besides stories and character reference.
Right. And if somebody is making a bold claim, that they can, again, at will, land the craft anytime they want, then please
do it now. Don't wait.
Please.
Don't wait for an event. Go ahead and bring it down on the White House lawn. Bring it down in the center of downtown LA, downtown Portland, downtown, any town, any major city where everybody is not going to be expecting it, but it comes down and everybody comes out with their innocent, if you want to call it, cell phones to record it. So don't do it in a place where it's, you know, at this point of this time, we're going to bring these special people together and do this event. Go out and do it in major locations. Make it happen there and show the general public, not the fanboys, but the general public, what this stuff is. Because remember when we had all of those sightings of, they call them orbs off of Tijuana and San Diego, and we had videos of all these people all over the place showing this. That's what we need. We need a mass sighting if we need public predictability. And if you can do it like the UFO Summoner does. Do it in downtown LA or whatever it is, but don't have them going up in the sky as a little dot. Bring it down to land in front of everybody. And I think that is truly what we need to get there.
Oh, absolutely. But the issue has been, since Dr. Stephen Greer announced Jake Barber as being one of his whistleblowers, all of the claims that have been made publicly by Jake Barber so far, he hasn't produced a shred of evidence or followed through on anything.
They are going to have an event coming up soon down in California somewhere where they're going to bring 40 to 50 people together that they hand select from a list, potentially with Lester Nair's help. But the thing is, again, why does it have to be at a location off the grid? Bring it down in a mass populated area and make their presence known. I think we're ready for that.
Oh, absolutely, we're ready for that. But so far, that hasn't happened. And I think that's one of the concerns about this current witness.
Yeah. Or make it like a viewing like they used to do in Las Vegas when they blow up when they were testing the first nuclear bombs. They had the public, right? all assembling farther places, farther away where it was safe, and they had some more people up close. Do something to involve a lot of people, because the more people you get there, the more believable it's going to be.
Right, and it's suspicious and curious why you would only want to select a small group of individuals.
You know, we haven't heard that the UFO were shot yet. All right, let's get back to this video. Great conversation, though, Mike. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Here we go.
No, that's what we're all hoping to find out. In fact, Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna has flagged that this week she's got a big announcement coming that she says is bigger than UAPs, which we're all waiting breathlessly to hear. And the speculation is that it might involve some decision about declassification of some of the more intransigent government secrets, particularly UAPs. We just don't know. I think one of the issues for incoming administrations, I think, is they're often not told until they get into office what the secrets really are. And the president has been quite upfront about his determination to reveal what can be revealed about UAPs. As you know, I did an interview with Don Trump Jr. a few weeks ago, and he's obviously very engaged with the subject. I've had more conversations with people in the Trump administration since, and I've had reach outs from people in defense and the intelligence community who frankly tell me that they think it's time the American public, and indeed the world, was told what the US really does know about UAPs. They don't think there's any good reason to keep on hiding what they tell me is the case, which is that humanity has long been engaging with an advanced non-human intelligence, and we have been recovering their technology. But I think that's a big call to say that the government's going to make the decision to release that information, because there are genuinely national security imperatives. I can understand why the Defense Department might want to protect weapons technology or propulsion systems.
But you know what he's missing on saying here, Mike? He isn't acknowledging that Trump, in many interviews, said he would bring the information forward on the cover-up about UFOs to bring out the truth, didn't he?
He did. There was a lot of campaign promises that he made when he did these interviews. Yep.
And right. As you've seen over the last several weeks, there is a person in the White House who likes to sign all of his executive orders on TV every day. It's a great entertainment, my friend. But also, he actually does what he promises, which is strange, we have to say, for someone who runs for office and the president, because usually they renege on their promises, don't they?
Oh, all the time. Especially the previous administration. Yeah, without a doubt. But you've made this point repeatedly, even during the previous administration. You said that if they want transparency, all they have to do is have the president sign an executive order and it's done. So that's all he has to do too now. Just sign the executive order and declassify it.
Because the hardest part is, apparently, like we talked about on Saturday, Lou even said the National Security Council, Jake Sullivan, didn't even read Biden in on this because he couldn't be trusted with it.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of issues that were coming out that we're going to be covering at one point during that administration that had a lot to do with why he may not have been read in. But I also told you that Senator Harry Reid had David Grush in his home and called Joe Biden on the phone and explained to him the investigation that Grush had done. So we know that he was aware of the UAP issue directly.
Right.
So that's a fact. That's come out already.
At least at one time. Whether or not he remembered it at the end is a whole nother story. Nothing to laugh about. I visited my grandmother many times when she was going through dementia. Unfortunately, it's something my grandmother had, my aunt had, but my mom didn't, either did my dad. So hopefully I'm saved on that side of the fence. But yeah, it's something that happens where the stuff that happens around you, it's like in a bubble, you don't remember it. All you can remember is outside of this bubble, certain amount of time out and further back. And that bubble expands more and more and more to where you're pretty much almost living in the past all the time.
Well, we haven't covered this directly on the show yet. We will soon. But it has come out that the previous administration, specifically Joe Biden, had, through 2022 and on, serious mental decline. to the point where he was only functional between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., and then he was gone for the rest of the day. Yeah. That may have had a lot to do with it as far as how things were dealt with and handled over the course of the previous administration. We'll get into the nuts and bolts of that at one point.
But I think in regards to that story, I think there was something saying about the Marines who were used to go ahead and be posting at the doors of the Oval Office haven't been used to dealing with where Trump is in there at this point. They're used to having that office shut down by 10:30, if not noon every day.
Right. That's right.
So forget about 4. We're talking 10 to noon every day.
Yeah, I know. And we'll cover it. And it's very interesting as far as what was going on weekend at Bernie's, they refer to it as. So
we'll
go over that.
Yeah. All right, let's continue on with this. Here we go.
Systems or energy systems. But I think at the very least, President Trump could come out and he could say, yes, we are aware of a non-human intelligence.
It's also been reported, Mike, that this picture we're seeing here is actually a plane. It's not one of the drones.
Of course.
That's all right, though.
Advanced technology, but we're not going to reveal those secrets to the Russians or the Chinese, potential adversaries, but we do think you, the public, should know that we are on top of this. We're restoring it to congressional oversight because it's been hidden improperly from the Congress and indeed from previous presidents. And so it would be a really big move, I think, by the current president to make that decision and be more open and honest with the American public.
Yeah, I know so many are hoping for more transparency in the next 4 years. Ross, in just about 20 seconds, who do you believe would be trying to cover this up and why?
I think more often than not, Natasha, it's coming from private industry. There are a group of aerospace companies who've got the control of this technology, and by golly, they're not letting go in a hurry.
Ross Coulthart, it is always so good to see you, and it always sparks so many questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all these stories are all intertwined for what we're talking about, my friends. Talking about what's going on tomorrow, we kind of got into what's going on with other members of Congress and what people are talking about. What we have here is some Spectrum news. Is we have a short clip of Anna Paulina Luna put out earlier today on our Twitter feed saying, the American people deserve truth. We've been kept in the dark for far too long. Stay tuned for my major announcement tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, or that would be 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. We will be joined by Representative James Comer of the Oversight Committee. Let's see what Anna Paulina Luna says in this little 37-second clip.
One of the biggest things that I'm constantly hearing from people, and it's not just me, but I think it's been generations of congressmen, is that there was a lack of transparency in the federal government. And I think when you have that, it's actually dangerous because that's where, conspiracy theories will form. That's where people will then lose, I think, sight and hope for their future of their nation and then their government. And so in an effort to combat that, I have been pushing, and I'm joined now by my colleagues and have been entrusted by the Speaker of the House, by the Chairman of Oversight, and hopefully the White House to be aiding in transparency for this country. So that's your hint. The biggest.
Oh, there you go, Mike.
Yeah.
Was there any word about UFOs on this clip?
None.
Not a one.
Right.
Now, some people are out there pointing towards this clip saying, look, it's about UAP. No, it's not been mentioned. We just know that everyone is just starved for stuff, and you just have to take an announcement like this that's vague. Leave it vague. Don't try and read between the lines because you're ad-libbing more than you actually are reading between the lines. Right, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. And I want to make a couple of quick points. As far as what statement we've heard directly come out of Rep. Luna's mouth is she's referring to this as a matter of national interest. So that much she's already revealed publicly. But that doesn't necessarily pertain to UAP. It could cover a lot of different ground, and we'll have to wait until tomorrow to see exactly what it is that she's referring to. Now, as far as the statement that Ross just made about he feels that it should be announced to the American public that they should be aware that the UAP issue is real, but not make that announcement to the Russians or the Chinese, I think that's a contradiction, because if you make a public announcement just to the members of the United States, then you're letting Russia and China know that publicly as well. So it was, I think, a misstep as far as how he phrased that.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
Oh, Tim will be Tim. He's never perfect, is he? But he speaks from his passion. More importantly, he speaks from his heart.
Yeah. No, listen, Ross is very passionate, especially about this subject. He's devoted enough of his personal time on it. So, I can understand
that speaking from the heart of where he wants it to go cloud things of where it actually is?
Oh, we've seen that before, where people impose wishful thinking into a lot of the statements that they make, like we're talking about with this upcoming press conference tomorrow.
Oh, and I've done it plenty of times when we used to read the legislation getting imposed by Congress, saying, "Oh my God, look how great this is! Let's read through it, every single word, get through the whole bit, and we can't wait to get it enacted." And it's enacted, and it's a nothing burger with regards to implementation, because there's no teeth from Congress to enforce the laws as written in the National Defense Authorization Act or the Intelligence Authorization Act. It almost seems like it's a guide of what we should do versus a Bible of this is what you must do.
Right. And that's been the problem all along. And so far, we haven't seen that change.
No.
Hopefully it will. We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Like
if
Ed
we
says.
can, we have Sharky Markey and Syrup with their hands up. Sharky Markey, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was wondering if maybe this could be about the Trump assassinations, perhaps.
Well, don't forget, Donald Trump, our current president, just went and requested all of the files with regards to the two people that tried to assassinate him at the end of last week. So I think it's bigger. This is a bigger scope of stuff. As you've seen, the amount of fraud that has been going on in every single one of the agencies that DOJ has been investigating, and we've been getting, what do you call it? The members of Congress acting like they're from the scene of deliverance, where they're squealing like a pig, Mike.
Exactly.
So
yeah, and the louder they squeal, the more we know they're on target.
Kind of a story that broke out tonight about the affidavit about a federal whistleblower talking about how Josh Shapiro, Christopher Wray were responsible for Trump's assassination attempts in Pennsylvania.
That kind of stuff, you got to remember the laws in Pennsylvania. Is it Pennsylvania where they were for, basically the kind of lawsuits that were filed on that kind of stuff. It doesn't take a lawyer. All it takes is a Joe Schmo with a freaking keyboard warrior to put it together. Don't read too much into it. It came from one source, one particular place, and it's treading on libelous conversation.
Well, supposedly she was a police officer though as well, and she was a single mom with kids, and she's reported on a lot of other problems with,
more like that.
CPS and I think Pennsylvania.
So she's had a lot of issues.
Kids. Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. I haven't heard too much about it coming out. Obviously, it's totally rumor right now, and it's on Twitter. It is,
and there, there's one person who said this. I read it. It's a very libelous, if you want to call it, accusation. If there's something there, if there is a there, it'll go forward. Otherwise, it'll just fade off. Give it a day or two. See where it happens.
Right.
Sure.
The point
one last thing. Dr. Stephen Greer, Daily Mail's reporting that he's really at the Trump administration's ear, and executive orders might come out. Who the hell knows?
How do we feel about Stephen Greer, Mike? Oh, I think I've got it here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Oh God, did I lose that? No.
Yeah, but I just want to put a fine point on what you were just saying, Thomas.
Oh, I got it.
And that is
Mike.
This is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt. Good evening and welcome. What you're about to hear may disturb you. Beloved alien celebrity Bijou the extraterrestrial was found dead on the outskirts of Wyoming. Reports from eyewitnesses who had spotted two men making a hasty escape from the lifeless Bijou. Currently, the Space Force is conducting an investigation, and a pivotal piece of evidence has emerged, potentially indicating that this could be a case of homicide. We've obtained a leaked audio recording from a nearby trail camera.
You think you know pain? Please don't hurt me, please! Remember what you did to me? No!
Thank you for watching. I'm Lester Holt. Please take care of yourself and each other. Good night.
Yeah, Mike, I'm sorry. I had to bring it up. Anytime Stephen Greer is brought forward, I have to bring up that clip.
Yeah, but not a fan.
No, not at all. You think else? Apparently, we've heard back through the grapevine that he doesn't like us playing that clip.
No, he definitely does not.
Oh,
has no sense of humor.
As you were saying, my friend.
I think it's funny.
Oh, I think
that's
we all
okay.
We got to have a fun with this, Mike. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all a mess. It's all a mess, I tell you.
No, it's okay. It's not a mess. We know what's what and where things are going, and we'll have to wait and see how it turns out.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, yes. So we got Anna Polina Luna taken care of. We've got that taken care of. I gotta find the stuff here that I've got about NASA. Let me go ahead and go to the top of this. Let it find it for me. Yes, Mike. As our headline said, bookmarks. All right. Let me bring this one up. Where is it at? Why can't I get it there? Let's get it TV. Not that one. A full guest. All right. In a top story here, coming from the Disclosure Party over on Twitter, NASA refused to implement recommendations from its UAP research team. After deciding not to continue investigating UAPs or adopt any of the team's suggestions, NASA reassigned the person in charge of the UAP team and disbanded their unit.
You could thank your Bet Your Boots Bill Nelson for that.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This happened last year. Long before Michael Gold, who was part of that committee, at NASA, who testified at the last UAP hearing. But did Michael bring any of that up at all?
Not a word.
Not a fucking single word, Mike, is more like it. Why?
Right.
Why, if you're part of this movement at NASA to bring out the truth, here are all these recommendations that you've got, and boom. They let him hit the floor, and they don't say anything about it. No one comes out with it under the Biden administration guidance that they shut this whole organization down, took the person who was supposed to be in charge of this, and reassigned them to something else besides it. And since they reassigned them, of course, that leadership position has remained vacant because NASA the NASSholes don't want to go ahead and bring the truth out on UAP to the American public. If anything, Mike, this screams cover up more than anything possible. What are your thoughts?
Well, you can inform our audience. What does NASA stand for again, Thomas?
Not a space alien?
Never a straight answer.
Never a straight answer? There's a bunch of ones, but it all goes down to the same thing as NASA is there to cover up the truth and only bring out the dialogue that aligns with the predetermined scientific hypothesis that they have.
Right. But as far as UAP, they have never been advocates for disclosure.
No.
And that's not going to change, I believe.
Yeah, so by the end of 2023, NASA already had a newly appointed director of UAP research and a raft of recommendations from the independent UAP study. What outcomes did this wealth of UAP assets produce in 2024? So as far as we know, very little of consequence. Now, according to Mike Gold, the position was vacated last year, a year later, and remains vacant. Now, Michael Gold, if you remember, was the person who went and testified in front of Congress the end of last year. Now, as a member of the UAP study team, he helped author a set of recommendations that were included in the final report. NASA should actively seek more comprehensive UAP data, crowdsource UAP data from contemporary sightings via a cell phone app or other means. Also, to improve FAA reporting by making it truly anonymous. Calibrate NASA satellites to the phenomena, telescopes and sensors to study UAP. Do data processing and data mining for UAP evidence in NASA's archives. Create an analytical framework that defines the background haystack in order to find anomalous needle of UAP. Now, these are all really great recommendations, and NASA refused to implement them and shut down the guy who was in charge of implementing. What does that say to you, Mike? That sounds like as Tim Burchett would say, it's a fucking cover-up.
Oh, it is, without a doubt. But now, here's what's also interesting about this. We covered, when it came out, the Immaculate Constellation program, which is a presidential unacknowledged special access program, does exactly that. The recommendations that were made for how NASA should handle this is exactly what the Immaculate Constellation program does. And that came out publicly when that whistleblower had came forward with that report to Congress that was reported on by Corbell and Michael Schellenberger.
Right.
Right. So we already have a government program that reports right to the President of the United States that does all of those things with our full sensor capabilities and tracks any type of UAP. So we have that. But NASA isn't going to touch that with a 10-foot
Now,
pole.
NASA is supposed to be like the civilian space agency, but clearly their actions show they're just a shill for the intelligence state.
Well, they work hand in hand with the intelligence state because they're the ones that launch a lot of the spy satellites.
Yeah. Weren't there more military missions for the space shuttle than there were non-military missions?
Oh, yeah, we covered that a while ago. Yeah, exactly. NASA is works hand in hand with the intelligence community, and they don't want to touch this. Doesn't mean they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
We've spoke about that as well. They are. They just don't want to have anything directly to do with it.
So NASA has refused to look at any classified data. Why not?
Right.
Why not look at classified data? Refuse to release any meaningful data from their archives. Refuse to implement any of the recommendations from their own study, and then quietly reassign the people involved.
Sounds like a cover-up to me, Thomas.
Well, honestly, Mike, it sounds like let's go ahead, put something out there for the public to quiet them down, and let's go back to the same way we've been handling this UAP situation, this UFO, let's forget UAP, this UFO situation.
Which is how they've been handling it from day one, and that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Right. So, yeah, we're going to get the door slammed in our face from NASA. But that's to be expected at this point, don't you think?
Yeah,
Thomas?
I guess maybe we could call them nassholes. Not massholes, but nassholes in this one.
Yeah, that works. Yeah. That applies. It's a good nickname for them.
It's disgusting, Mike. It really is.
Oh, I know. Absolutely, I know. But now, as we're going to segue into our coverage of the U.S. aid and the work that Elon is doing at Doge, there's a lot of disgusting things that have been coming out to light publicly recently that the government has been behind, and it's really awful.
I know we're almost ready to get there, but I'm not done with UFOs yet, Mike.
Oh, my mistake.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's okay. I've got a bunch of little things we haven't covered here in my pickup on UFO. I mean, on Twitter, my friend. Let me get to the next one. Where am I at? Our next one is coming from Merrick von Rennenkamp. You know Merrick, don't you?
I do, yeah.
He's a good one, my friend.
Report.
He's a good one. Let me go ahead and bring this next one up. Where is that at? Video full. Here we go. Oh, not that one. Nope. There's solo guest. All right, let's bring ourselves in. Coming in again. Highly advanced drones hovered over Germany military facility with lights on at least 6 times over the last month. All efforts to jam and down the objects failed. So all of our Ghostbuster packs, all the things we're trying to use with that were sold to us by the military contractors who said it can bring down any drone. It sounds like they sold us a false dream, Mike. Are you surprised?
No, of course not.
No.
Are you kidding me? No.
It may be able to bring down a DJI drone, but if they're actually trying to bring down drones that are hardened, meaning they've got the hardened ability to prevent other signals from coming and interfering with the operation of the drone, they're just going to go ahead and continue operating. So whoever's sold these efforts to jam and down a drone failed. I'm not going to say that they were not able to be brought down because they were UAP. I'm going to say these were probably drones that were from an adversary like Russia or China combined. You never know, that know what our technology can handle and have found ways to augment it around it. Augment around it.
You're right, but it could also be the drones that were authorized by the FAA.
Yeah, but here we're talking about Germany, and here we're just talking about specifically military bases. Let me get into this. The sighted multi-wingers floated on the spots for minutes with the position lights switched on. These sheets quote from the actual report. Oh, let me get out of this so people can actually see this. Bring that down again. But attempts have been made in vain to dissuade the drones from their course or to force them to land by means of jammers or other equipment. Due to the ineffectiveness of these defensive measures, it can be assumed that these are not commercially available, but specialized drones. No shit, Sherlock. So, Mike, is our government that stupid where they have jamming devices to bring down stuff like a DJI drone? And they're saying, oh my God, we can't bring it down. It's not a DJI drone. Yes, of course, it's not commercially available because it's probably coming from Russia.
Or
but yet people in the UAP committee want to, UAP community want to tie on this and say, look, it's UAPs. No, they're not commercially available drones because that's a technology that was sold to the United States to bring down a class 1 or a class 2 drone, not a class 3 or class 4. Right, Mike?
No, you're right, Thomas. Absolutely.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, Moose just went into this really small. Never mind. I'll leave it alone. Where there's a will, Mike, he will find a way.
Animals are notorious for that.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
absolutely right.
You've got a house full of them.
Syrup has his hand up. He's been waiting patiently for a
Syrup,
while.
go ahead, my friend. Syrup, I know you've been asleep. Hello, Syrup.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna fall back on the Luna thing. So I had my hand up, but I didn't interrupt.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't call you sooner. My fault.
No, it's all right. I just didn't want to touch you. Did you guys see Swan's tweet? I had a couple things. Did you see Swan's tweet?
Yeah, we saw Swan's tweet that he particularly got saying that tomorrow's thing is going to about UFOs. If it is, that's cool. But a task force, we've already gone over the limits of what a task force can do. So it'd be great if it's a part of UFOs. I'd really enjoy it. But we just have to realize the effectiveness of a task force.
So if they do start up this task force, you don't think they're going to have the the clearances or what have you to get
bring out some Avi Lube? Otherwise, things are going to get a bit raw.
Okay, that was it. That's all.
Yeah, Ed Brown, your hand is up, my friend.
Well, you didn't mention the possibility of NHI on that. I know in the past you've said that you don't think these drones are NHI, but that's certainly a possibility. Now, let me switch to the other side of that real quick. If they're an adversary, they're Russia or China, and by golly, we ought to be pretty worried. We really ought to be pretty worried because...
I mean, who was that? That was said by our current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. when we had the drone fly or the UFO flyovers over Dead Horse, Alaska, then over Maelstrom Air Force Base, then over Lake Huron, over a number of days, right? When those craft happened where they were going out there, we're supposed to get an answer, and stuff was supposed to come out, but Marco Rubio was on camera, and he specifically said, I would really hope these are non-human intelligence, because if what we're dealing with is actually our adversaries, we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, he's saying the same thing I said. He did it a lot better because he's Secretary of State, I guess.
That was before he was Secretary of State, when he was just a senator,
just
but yeah.
a senator back then. But you know, the scary thing, I didn't say what was so scary. The size of those drones is such that almost any kind of weapon could be carried on those. And if there were enough of them, they could simultaneously attack us throughout the entire country. So that ought to be something that they need to quickly figure out how to down them.
You would think. Let's get beyond jammers that are being sold to us by military contractors promising all this stuff. And if the stuff that they sold us say could bring it down, doesn't bring it down, we should be able to go back to those military contractors and say, you sold us shit, buddy. I want something that's going to work and actually take this stuff down, and we're not going to give you another penny. And if you're not going to fix this, we're not going to give you another penny on any other program. So fix it. Sell us stuff that actually works.
Do we know if they've attempted to actually down one, not by electronic jamming means, but by a directed energy weapon of some type, physically to shoot it out of the sky? Do we know if that's even been tried?
Not over Germany.
Not over Germany, but here in the United States, they used over Langley microwave directed energy weapons that are designed for anti-drone, and they had no effect. So that's a concern. And you're right, the size of these drones are like SUV. They could have a payload of a dirty nuclear material or any type of a weapon that could be launched against us in the United States or anywhere else around the world where they're operating. So it's a major concern. You're absolutely right about that, Ed. And they don't seem to be taking it that seriously. I believe an F-22 would be able to bring these objects down without a doubt, but they haven't authorized the use of force to do that. So that's why it's a stalemate.
It's always a problem, Mike. It's always a problem. Ashley.
Oh, it's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can get to Ashley. Ashley, you have your hand up, my dear lady.
No worries. Thoughts are with using the technology that we have, a lot, what's kind of crazy is a lot of our technology that we get for that kind of stuff is built in other countries, for one. For two, what if it is the country that sold us like that specific technology on purpose so that they could do things like this?
So what you're saying is if this was potentially created in another country, oh God, like China or something like that, and they understood what we're using this for, they could go ahead and understand the characteristics of these particular devices and create technology that is unable to be affected in its essence by the technology that we're having assembled.
It is a possibility. I did watch
absolutely
a bit ago that Trump was signing some executive orders. He really wants to bring like the metal business back into the United States.
Yeah.
He also wants to.
Well, one of the reasons that he wants to bring the metal business back in the United States is because, you know, up into, in effect, 125,000 people who would be employed in the United States have lost their jobs. Initially, they were brought back under Trump but by weakening of the tariffs and different things that have happened over the last 4 years over the Biden administration, that those tariffs were rolled back in different ways. Those people lost their jobs again, but you know what? You can't not have a steel and a war machine in the United States and rely on foreign steel. You need to be able to create your own steel for your own craft here in the States, right, Ashley?
Absolutely. And the other thing is, a while back, there was some news, and I don't know if everybody caught this, but he signed a deal with 3 tech execs, big CEOs and stuff. One of them was from Japan.
SoftBank,
Yeah, because he wants to bring the technology here. I feel like that's good on several levels. It's good that it's going to be made here so that we can have oversight, for one. And as far as my second idea was that Ed had mentioned like bringing them down by force. I know like out in the country when I was living in Wyoming, especially, they probably would have shot them down. However, the issue with that is when you shoot something down, like we were talking about payloads and stuff like that, you don't know how it's going to affect, or like, let's say they do shoot one down and it comes down and it causes a huge explosion and it does exactly whatever it's supposed to do.
But then we realize, Ashley, it truly was a threat, and we cannot be afraid. We cannot be the alpha, especially in the airspace over our homeland.
No, I agree. And Tim Burchett was like, the reason they're not coming to Tennessee is because they know damn well we'll shoot them down, dagnabbit.
Yeah, oh God, yeah, that's true.
And it is the way in some of those states, you know, they carry guns in their back window of their trucks and they're not afraid of it. But
no.
It is kind of dangerous to do like in the middle of a city, though, you know, like the ones over New Jersey and the ones over New York.
Well, the ones in New Jersey, as they were coming in over the ocean. What a wonderful time to go ahead and take shoot these things out of the frickin' air, just like they tried to do in the battle over LA during World War II. If they're coming in and there's a wave of them, frickin' bring those things down before they even get a chance to hit the homeland.
They chased, if you remember, Thomas, we covered this live. They chased 30 of these drones, chased a Coast Guard vessel, which are equipped with 50 caliber machine guns, which 50 cal is an anti-aircraft round. Ed will back me up on that.
I want to debunk another reason. I want to debunk.
Yeah, I hear you, my friend.
They could have shot the damn thing down over the ocean when they were being chased by these things.
Well, talking about it, go ahead,
That's the
Ashley.
safest option. The last thing that I was going to mention, that there is a silver lining to this, because guess what? More people are looking up at the sky.
That is true. But, you know, that happened during COVID as well. A lot of more people were stuck at home and they ended up going and looking up in the sky. Before you go away, Ashley, I do have another clip here of Representative Steve Cohen calling the New Jersey drones a viral internet hoax. I think maybe we need to do a deep dive into this schmuck to see where he's getting his money from. You know, there are schmucks everywhere, but more importantly, there are people who are bought and paid for. Let me go ahead and bring this one up here. All right, here we go. I'm not even going to read the intro. I will. He claims a massive drone sighting shutting down the airports is a conspiracy theory, Mike. What a schmuck. Let's listen to this.
I want to debunk another recent aviation-related conspiracy theory, the so-called New Jersey drone crisis. Late last year, social media was flooded with claims of mass drone swarms shutting down airports and threatening public safety. I thought Orson Welles had come back. In fact, a full review by the FAA, FBI, and the DHS found no credible security threats. Many of these sightings were misidentified commercial drones, law enforcement operations, and even fixed-wing aircraft mistaken for drones. We must separate fact from fiction so that we can focus on real threats, not viral internet hoaxes, and not run to the cameras to make a statement and demand that Washington aviation fiction so that we can focus on real threats, not viral internet hoaxes, and not run to the cameras to make a statement and demand that Washington do something about it when there was nothing to be done about it.
What a schmuck. My God, Mike, we watched this. We saw what was going on. We covered it on a daily basis. We had helipads shut down on airports. We saw LaGuardia shut down in other airports further away from it. And he's saying it's all a hoax. It's all misidentified. Why would they have shut down airports like that?
Well, they wouldn't have. No. And it sounds like the same thing we got from Admiral John Kirby, if you remember.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit. And that seems to be the path that certain members of the government go down in regards to this topic. And it's laughable and insulting at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, I'd have to agree. And then some, Mike. TVT, you have your hand up? I guess not. Alice W., your hand is up.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, TVT first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on what she was just talking about. And kind of what me and Daryl saw a few weeks ago, where, you know, it was either over Ukraine or Russia, but they shot missiles at this thing and it spun the missile around and shot it right back at the source it came from. So who's to say that, you know, what they're doing isn't in turn, you know, we fire on them, it fires back on us, some kind of technology. And then, you know, what Mike was saying about how microwaves aren't even affecting it. I mean, maybe there's nothing we can do.
Well,
you know?
If it's a device, TVT, that's purposefully hardened, meaning the shell around the craft is shielded to an extent that would prevent microwaves or different types of signals from penetrating the shell of the craft, then yes, a microwave, it's like, you know, Mike, have you ever, actually TVT, have you ever stand next to your microwave when it was running?
Yeah.
Did it kill you? Did it kill you or give you cancer? No. Did it burn you? No. Because the microwaves have been shielded from penetrating that door or the actual thing to prevent the microwaves from escaping. They could have that same kind of off-the-shelf technology using the shell of these drones that would prevent any kind of microwave energy shot from a craft or directed energy weapon using microwave energy to go ahead and affect anything inside that drone and bring it down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sheds a little bit of light on it. But
yeah. You just have to look at what are the precautions, especially when we're trying to, you know, use microwaves for this. Mike, you've used microwaves.
Who knows? That's some awesome technology if that exists.
Well, the thing is, the technology is sold by the defense contractors and pushed up to go ahead and match their extraordinary claims. And if their technology doesn't work, it's up to the United States, if not the United States people, to go ahead and say, why the why the duck are we spending all of this money to give you this, to go ahead and give us technology that doesn't work? Fix it and get us something that's stronger, right? Right, Mocha? Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be. Alice W., your hand is up, my dear lady.
Yeah, Thomas, it just irritates the hell out of me that these politicians get up there and lie through their teeth and nobody has any integrity at all. How did it come to this? Do politicians always lie? How did we get to a point where we're all being lied to? We don't know our history.
Yeah. I guess as long as government or religion has been around, potentially we haven't always gotten the truth. More so something that's more convenient to go ahead and make the people happy.
And why would that guy, why even come out and say it? What's he getting? What's he gaining from saying that?
Well,
that nothing happened?
Maybe Mr. Cohen, Ashley, needs to be investigated for who he's getting his money from. Follow the money trail, and you'll follow the statements of what these paid politicians. Remember, most of these politicians get a salary of $175,000 a year, but they're making tens of millions of dollars a year. How?
Yeah.
Actually looking into it right now as we speak. So
excellent. Thank you, my dear lady.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thank you, Alice, as well. Daryl Zernick, your hand is up, my friend.
Just to say, some politicians actually do keep some of their promises. I don't know if anybody zoomed into the Gulf of Mexico today, but you won't find it there anymore in your Google Maps.
Oh, it says Gulf of America?
That's correct.
Ooh. Apparently, they got the executive memo. I'm zooming out. Let's see if I can bring this in. Oh, son of a bitch. There it is. Let's go ahead and bring it up for the audience. Thank you, Daryl. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look. We got the United States. And if we zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, there we go. It's no longer the Gulf of Mexico. It is now the Gulf of America.
Thank you very much.
Well, apparently Google is buying into it because, I hate to say it, isn't Google an American company?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good one. How about that? Mike, are you surprised?
No, not at all. Very interesting.
Oh, I love it. It's interesting to say the least.
So when did it become the Gulf of Mexico? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Ask ChatGPT, you'll get an answer. Meow, meow. Oh, we're hearing the pussy effect taking over Mike Disclosure.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Always
the
got a
older
busy
one
ass.
or the younger one?
No, it's the older ones.
Yeah, I thought
That's
I
what it
heard
is.
the 5 month. Is it 7? How old is that one? A year and a half?
No, 5 months.
5 months. It was 5 months. Okay, I'll go by my
Yeah,
original.
5 months.
Yeah, nice.
Mm-hmm.
All
Keeps me
right.
busy. Well, you got a house full of that as well.
Well, I've got 3 dogs, just no
Oh.
cats here. So
Yeah, exactly.
I've
I got 2
I've
dogs.
got 3 dogs, one female in heat and one male not fixed. So Moose has his mind fucked for the next couple weeks at least. Poor guy. Poor guy, to say the least. All I can see, Mocha, honestly, is it's just like Super Boss, and you've got this like female dog leader, and she has these legions of male dogs who are completely taken over by her pheromones. We're dealing with. So have you heard, not just that, Mike, that the Go Fast video, that RO has put out a judgment on it? They're calling it a balloon. Uh-oh, we lost Mike.
No, I'm
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
They're
see,
calling it a balloon, huh? Sounds like Mick West.
oh, I know. This must be leftovers from the Biden administration. Apparently, our friends at RO, more importantly, the leaders at RO, have not gotten the memo on them the transfer of the government actually happening. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Yes, in an RO case, go on ahead and talking about the Go Fast coming from the Department of Defense in a case resolution from February 6, 2025, talking about the January 2015 that a U.S. Navy F-18 pilot recorded an object using FLIR sensor about 13,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida. They're saying the video appeared to show a moving object at high speed. Arrow cannot definitively identify the object, but it displays no anomalous performance characteristics. Didn't Arrow also debug the Tic Tac as well?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's the bullshit we're all dealing with, Mike, and what everyone in ufology is just clamoring to find the next greatest thing. But you know what? Our government is trying to tell us it's a nothing burger. Don't look here. That never happened. It's not anomalous. It's prosaic. But in this case, the nothing burger actually points at something that's real, and it just shows how corrupt the Department of Defense has been over previous administrations. I am looking forward, Mike, to the audit. Well, but truthfully, the audit from Doge is only going to be financial, not about the lies like this.
Yeah, but let's take a look at what Doge has done so far with USAID, which is the CIA front. They not only did a financial audit, but they showed us the money trail of all the dirty work that has been covered up by the government for decades. So don't count Elon and Doge out yet. Done amazing work, and I think there's more to come.
Oh, I would certainly hope so.
Basically.
Now, I do have a clip here. If we're talking about transparency of what's been going on in the United States, more importantly, the world, a former U.S. bank president has sounded the alarm, revealing that the United States Federal Reserve has lost over $1 trillion and counting, turning it into nothing more than a massive hedge fund for the rich and powerful, which is not a surprise. He claims the Fed is borrowing money from banks at 5.4% interest, then pouring it into government bonds, which basically give you a lot less, creating the illusion that the government's financial situation is better than it actually is. He also warns that this scheme isn't just limited to the U.S., it's happening across central banks worldwide. You want to watch a clip on this, Mike?
Please do, yeah.
Yeah, we're just going ahead and delving a little bit off of UFOs here to say, yeah, Mike, if this happens, this is going to lead to a financial crisis, unlike 2008, unlike the crash back in the day. It's going to be worldwide.
It's going to be a financial meltdown, it looks like. And it seems like it could be bigger than what we went through back in 2008.
Yeah.
And that's around the corner. If this is coming out publicly now, at one point, the shit is definitely going to hit the fan. And I don't think that anybody is going to really be prepared for that.
No, let's go ahead and play this clip, because this is something that affects everybody. We talk about disclosure tonight. We're about UFOs, but there's other things that are affecting the world that are major topics besides Doge, Mike. This is one of them. Let's go ahead and play this one. Here we go. Actually, wait a minute. I'm in the right browser. Okay.
Yeah, it's worrisome. You know, the Fed basically has become now just a giant hedge fund. It's lost $1 trillion, and counting. It's going to be a gigantic loss. What it does is borrows money at 5.4% from banks and then dumps it into government bonds. So think what that trade does. That causes the government to think that it's better off than it is. And so that encouraged the government to be short when rates were zero. So why did the government borrow so much in T-bills? Well, because the Fed was buying the bonds, and it made it look like yields were going to stay low remember the low for long phrase. So we've got these multiple problems that are going on, and it endangers the dollar. So that's the basic case.
Instead of the Fed having such large balances, wouldn't the private sector be starting businesses and risking capital and bringing returns and adding to growth? Wouldn't all that money be better if it wasn't with the Fed?
That's right. And we're depending on private equity. So as the banks get squeezed out, because they're lending so much to the Fed, it's literally a floating rate loan from banks to the Federal Reserve so it can buy government bonds. So if that were freed up, that would allow the banks to at least consider a small business loan, an inventory loan, the kinds of things that help the economy grow. And this is on a global basis. It's not just the Fed. It's all the major central banks doing the same thing, meaning taking money from the economy in order to buy government bonds. We need to be clear on that. I heard the previous segment, they talk about money printing. There isn't any money printing on it. It's just money borrowing, and they pay top dollar for it. The Fed pays 5.4 to banks and 5.3 to money market funds, so to the Fidelity and Vanguard and so on.
Mike, your thoughts? This is a serious situation, my friend.
No, I think that we're not going to be prepared for when the shit eventually will hit the fan here in the United States, and as the ripple effect globally, which is what we saw play out with the 2008 mortgage-backed financial crisis that we had to deal with. Yeah. And that also went out globally. I think this time around, we're not going to be prepared. I think it's going to crash currencies. And at that point, we're not really going to be able to deal with that to do a correction. $1 trillion, that's going to have an impact. How could it not? That's a hell of a lot of money.
That's a shitload of money, my friend.
Oh, I know. So this is something that nobody's really talking about and certainly not prepared for at this point. It's pretty serious.
Not even close. Ashley, my auditor friend, you have your hand up.
So I didn't get into all of the specifics. I didn't do a complete deep dive. But what I do know about Stephen Cohen is that, well, the correlation that I found interesting is that he was backed by the Federal Aviation Administration, Managers Association, the Allied Pilots Association, and airport industry. So that might have something to do with why he's saying that. I'm not quite sure what the link is, but that's what I found so far.
Thank you. I appreciate that info, my dear lady. Sorry, I just went to walk and my lower back isn't hurting because I went to walk and my left leg and my knee on my left side is just like on fire. On fire. And it's nice not to have the pain in my lower back in towards the end of the show, but being able to get up and stand and walk, oh my God. But thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that wonderful information. Yeah, we are in for a dangerous situation ahead. It looks like it, and let's just hope we can get to safety.
Sounds like it's going to be a rough ride.
Oh, it could be. Talking about a rough ride, Mike. You know, we did get a very interesting tweet coming from Lou Elizondo just yesterday. Let me go ahead and bring this one up here. Here we go. There we go. Lou Elizondo says, ordinance inbound. What the hell could he be talking about? Showing what looks like nuclear bombs being launched from multiple silos at the same time. That's like we're sending stuff out, but we're going to be having other shit coming in at the same time. It ain't good.
No, it doesn't sound like it to me.
Yeah.
But it could mean any one of a number of things. It's hard to say, to be honest with you.
But he did come out in the last week and say, yes, he has a survival bunker that he's built in Wyoming.
Yes, he did.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's one of those things you just have to go ahead and scratch your head and say, what was he talking about? And there was a lot of speculation on what he was talking about, but no hints of the actual facts behind it.
Yeah. I don't believe it's anything ominous. It's probably a point that he's trying to make about what's going on in Washington and what may be coming down the pike. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
But if we get some clarity on that from him, we will certainly let the public know.
Yeah. You know, something interesting, right? We all love Elon Musk and what he's trying to do and put his time into. Have you seen the pictures of him sleeping in sleeping bags on the floor of the departments that he's auditing because he doesn't want to lose a minute going away back to his place, paying too much for a hotel and coming back the next morning?
Yeah, the richest man on the planet, and he certainly is dedicated. I can tell you that I wouldn't be sleeping on the floors in the buildings in Washington, and I'm sure neither would you.
Oh, if I had to. It's not too hard to sleep on the floor. You just need a decent pillow to go along with it. My goodness. But, you know, let's talk about this one thing I've got here from Elon Musk. Let me go ahead and bring this one up here. You know, Elon Musk says, I guess I better maximize my security. And let's look at the little video clip that he said this on. I guess I better maximize my security.
You have a Pentagon that has billions of dollars that they hide. We don't ask for any accounting of. They never pass an audit.
My God, look how young he looks there, Mike. What's happened to Tim?
I know. Well, when you work in Washington and deal with all that bullshit, it ages you prematurely.
Yeah.
Accounting
both
of.
sides are wear and
They
tear.
never pass.
Oh, yeah, it does.
They never pass an audit in the history of audits. I've often said the only way we're really going to get to the bottom of this is somebody's going to walk out of one of these labs with this information and puts it out on the internet before they commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 5 times.
Committed suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 5 times.
Oh, yeah, we've made that point publicly
I
as
know.
well. So good for Tim.
And the
Got a
quote
sense of
was,
humor.
guess I better maximize my security.
He carries his security on his right hip.
But here's the thing. Yeah, he does. But I think it's because Elon Musk is getting ready to do the deep dive into the Department of Defense.
Well, that should be pretty goddamn interesting.
Oh, I can't wait. Actually, let me get this right.
Exactly.
Gotta have fun with it. I love it. I love it, my friend. You know what? I'm gonna call this out. Would you say that Elon Musk is a patriot, Mike?
With the work that we've seen him do publicly so far, I'd have to say yes. I would agree with that.
He truly loves the United States of America. For what he's built with it. He's he may be the world's smartest guy right now. Let's be honest. The most smartest, the most passionate, the one who's made the most money off of his brainiac ideas. Good for him. And you know what? He's neglecting Twitter, although he's using it a lot these days. He's kind of done with fucking with that at this front. He's got Tesla on its own. SpaceX is doing it. And he's letting all of his different things run on their own as he's focusing in his deep dive to go ahead and, which could be really saving America.
It's giving us more information about what's been hidden from us for decades that hasn't been able to be done before. So yeah, you got to give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's accomplished things that we have not accomplished before. So yeah, and it's still just the beginning. Tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that's going to come out.
Oh, I can't wait. You know, like I said earlier, it's like the scene from Deliverance where they're telling the Dems to squeal like a pig.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of squealing going on. Look at what's been going on with USAID. The squealing is just beginning.
Oh, yeah. And then some. And then
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think we've covered that. We've covered that.
I think finally we have the USAID piece. You want to wrap it up with that?
Yeah, if you want to cover that, Mike, take the helm. Go for it.
Well, I believe you had the article that you were going to.
Yeah, I am not in a position at this point. I am like, stick a fork in me. I'm done at this point.
But in that case, we could save it for the next show. It's a lot to cover. So let's just wrap it up.
Yeah. Well, you know, but Ashley has her hand up before we call it an end, Mike.
Okay.
Okay.
Ashley, go ahead.
All right. Just one more thing that's worth noting with Steve Cohen is he has been actively involved in securing federal funding for airports in his district, such as the Memphis International Airport. So maybe if, just a thought, and this is all speculation, but my thought might be if they said, oh, you know, the FAA cleared this or didn't clear it or whatever that might be, with every financial backer that he has, it may be in his best interest, I would think, to go ahead and support the idea that it's an that the drones are an internet hoax and that the FAA has continuously did their job and everything. He may know something that we don't know. Just a thought.
You might be right about that. And Ashley, didn't you look into the Galileo project? And you were saying that they have independent funding that they were supposed to acquire?
Yes, I did. Do you have that email pulled up?
I can in a moment.
1 second before we get there, I have a breaking UFO news. Where did that go? Let's go ahead and bring this up really quick as Mike looks at that email to bring it up. Yes, we've got an interesting piece here, folks. Tulsi Gabbard has been confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence. In her hearing, Tulsi referenced UAPs as one of her priorities, as well as ensuring that we don't have illegal and unconstitutional programs within the intelligence community. According to Matthew Pine, she also received an informal briefing on UAP recently. So this is a huge move forward. in the Trump administration to have a director of national intelligence who may bring things forward, Mike, in a way that John Ratcliffe, because remember, he was the last director of national intelligence, could have ever dreamed of. Your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. This is what we've been looking for a long time. Somebody from the executive branch in a position of authority and power that would have access to this information and looking to bring it out publicly and prosecute those who have been doing it illegally. Yeah, this is like a dream come true. It's amazing.
Yeah. And she was a true blue Democrat who was a center Democrat, not one off to the left. And the Democrat Party drifted so much that she pushed away and said, I'm no longer a Democrat. I'm going to go independent or as a Republican, is where she wound up. And now she is our new director of national intelligence. I am so happy and pleased at her role taking this. Tulsi, I had actually hoped she was someone who could potentially be our president someday. And you know what? That is still not out of the possibility. Ashley, go ahead.
Okay, I have the email pulled up if you would like me to share that with everyone.
Please do. Yes.
I took notes, and I have found in my conclusion in researching this that at least for now, and I'll keep my eyes open, is that Avi Loeb and the Galileo Project has no government funding, at least as of right now. Private foundations, which may or may not have government backing themselves, and individuals are how Avi Loeb and the Galileo Project have relied on individual research, scientific theory, and possibly some subcategory organizations on how this research may affect humanity. Let's see. Avi Loeb and the Galileo Project, just a little background. The Galileo Project, led by Avi Loeb, focuses on the scientific research of unidentified aerial phenomena and interstellar objects. The project is supported by private citizens from around the world who are interested in this area of research, which has been traditionally stigmatized. The Galileo Project relies on philanthropic contributions and scientific grants, and it does not receive funding from any government or military organization. It also does not partner with any such organizations. Some key individuals that I did find that may be angel investors, I can't find the exact amounts, but they're pretty big into this, and some of them may actually even be involved in the Galileo Project themselves. So like when I send a super chat, like I'm a back panel, but I still support the channel type of deal.
Right, yeah.
Thank you for that, Ashley. We appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
So it sounds to me like Avi Loeb and the Galileo Project are not getting any direct funding from Harvard University or the federal government. They are solely required to have private investment. Is that correct?
Yes. And so I have some key individuals here and some of their backgrounds. Eric Kito works at Harvard's Institute for Theory and Computation and is an astrophysicist at the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory. Bill Linton, founder, chairman, president, and CEO of Promega, a global life science research company. And I may be butchering these names, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries.
Frank Loken, chairman, president, and CEO of Bruker Corporation with a background in chemical physics from Harvard University. He is also a visiting scholar at Harvard and has served on various advisory committees at MIT. Adnan Sen, an investor in energy, real estate, construction, and hotels. He is leading natural gas importer in Turkey and develops international investments. Charles Hoskinson, a Colorado-based technology entrepreneur and mathematician, founder of 3 cryptocurrency-related startups and a key figure in the development of Cardano, a third-generation cryptocurrency.
Very familiar with Cardano, and I know Charles Hoskinson. I could tell you that he also personally funded and attended when Avi Loeb was going out to look for the tiny metal balls that he found. It was Charles Hoskinson that paid for that trip directly and was there on the ship when they were looking. So, yeah, he's definitely crypto-based and very interesting for somebody his age, but he's also very wealthy. But I don't believe it's long-term funding coming to Avi Loeb and the Galileo project. But I can tell you that the Galileo project was visited by the FBI, and we covered that live on the show a while back when that was going on. So Avi has been getting some attention in a negative way. And it's interesting because these angel investors, as you put it, obviously there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to get the FBI's attention. What do you think about that, Thomas?
Anything to get their attention away from what's going on in Congress, absolutely, because we have a 76-year-old Democrat congressman who's a Democrat who suffers a medical episode while speaking on the House floor, freezing like what do you call it?
Weekend at Bernie's in Congress.
Oh gosh, yes, just freezing himself. Like I can't get the name out. My goodness, like Mitch McConnell has done many times in the past. It clearly shows, Mike, we need to have term limits in Congress.
Oh, we do. And we need to have young blood, fresh blood in Congress and in government, so that look, Tulsi Gabbard is a perfect example of that. I think, don't you?
Oh gosh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Somebody on the ball, smart, intelligent, fearless, and young enough where they can function normally without having micro strokes every time they take a step forward, like Mitch McConnell and other members of Congress. Yeah, it's time for a change. But you know what? The current administration is looking to do exactly that. Look at, for example, Pam Bondi. Trump is putting key people in key positions that are also young enough, smart enough, and talented enough to be able to do the right job. So I think for the first time in a long time, we're probably on the right track for the government moving forward to get through all this bullshit. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I hope we get there, Mike, because there's been so much bullshit that's been going on from the unelected bureaucrats and the DOD and the intelligence community to what's been going on of the cover-up that's been paid and bought for in Congress. We just want the truth on disclosure. We just want the truth come out about UFOs and disclosure. We're tired of all the bullshit that's going on. We're tired of all the things that are being held over our heads. Just stop the rhetoric and give us an answer is what it comes down to.
We're tired of the corruption. We're tired of the deep state. We're tired of the fact that the Department of Defense has failed every audit they've ever had to go through. We're tired of the fact that there's $22 trillion, not billion, that are missing and unaccounted for from the Department of Defense over a number of years. That is an insane amount of money. And we've talked about it here on the show repeatedly.
It's unforgivable, Mike.
Oh, I know, because we're currently in a $36 trillion deficit. And 22 of that is unaccounted for by the Department of Defense. It's disgusting is what it is.
Yeah.
But it looks like now the current administration is looking to get to the bottom of it. And a key example of that is Elon and Doge. They're doing good work and getting to the bottom of the corruption and how far spread it is.
Oh, my God, Mike, I got to bring this up. This is just pure government waste beyond where it could possibly be. I'm sure this is something you haven't even seen yet. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Here we go. Breaking. Doge just terminated a $2.3 million contract for a VR training course that taught soldiers how to have difficult conversations about DEI.
Oh, are you
diversity, equity,
me?
And inclusion.
Oh, God. Really? They did that?
They did it.
Huge waste of all money.
And there is a picture of the program of what they're seeing. Hey, at least it's beyond Facebook avatar ghosts that don't have legs, but I'm not seeing legs here at this point, so you never know.
Right. No, that's true. Good point. No, that's disgusting. It really is.
Yeah.
So
and if you ask me, I think this is the last type. I'm not going to criticize the person who's there taking the DEI course, but I'm almost having to say, does this person even need a DEI course?
No, they don't.
No.
It's common sense, really. And people with half a brain would be able to have a conversation about it. We don't need to spend $2.3 trillion on it.
No, 2.3 million.
Oh, million. Okay. $1 million.
Either way, all the money adds up over time.
Sure it does. And it's our money, not theirs.
Jesus Christ. Where is it going to go next? Where is it going to go next, Mike?
Well, we're going to find out. Elon is definitely on the job and sleeping on the floors of these buildings to get to the truth. So good for him. We're going to find out more than we have in decades, I believe, about all this government corruption.
And I'm looking forward to it. Alice, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I think within a week of 9/11, Rumsfeld had come out for the department, for the Pentagon, and said they were missing $3 trillion. And the area that got hit was the area that held all of those records.
And it was 24 years ago.
Yeah.
So, right. You can imagine how that number has grown from then to now. Yeah, we know it's 22 trillion and counting. That's unaccounted for. That's a lot of money. It's an insane amount of money.
And then some.
Oh, and then some is right.
Yeah.
But Elon's going to get to the bottom of it, and the current administration is making all of it public. So this is going to come out, and we're going to get answers to where it all went. And like you just pointed out with the DEI story, it's not going to good places, unfortunately.
Oh, I know, Mike. Absolutely. It's one of those days you just have to take a step back and start appreciating all the changes that are coming to our government. More importantly, to appreciate all the people that have given us Super Chats tonight. Who am I talking about? I want to go ahead and thank ED. Here's Super Chat. Daryl. Ashley Candidate once, Ashley Candidate twice. Thank you very much, everybody, for your wonderful love and support of everything here at Disclosure Tonight. We try to do our best. If you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down yet, I ask for it. If you've been listening to us for so long, what are you waiting for? Give us a subscribe. We'd love to have you as a regular here at Disclosure Tonight, because you know why, Mike? Tell us why.
Oh, because if you subscribe and hit the like button, we give you a double your money back guarantee.
That's right, Mike. Absolutely. It's absolutely free to subscribe, and we'll give you double that amount back for free if you don't like it.
That's right. We will.
Yes. So. And yeah, Mike, as you know, it's been a great show, great audience, great people in the back. Mike, I appreciate you coming out here, but as my left leg is saying, I need you to rest, Thomas. It's screaming.
Yeah. Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. We love you, everybody. Y'all come back now here. Take care. Bye-bye.